Welcome in, everyone, to the Challenge After Show. Tonight, Pamela and I are talking about the Challenge Battle for a New Champion, episodes 8 and 9. Now, the reason we're doing a double episode this week is because we didn't do last week. And the reason that happened is because my wife, Stacy, went into labor, and I was having a baby. Well, no, she was having a baby. I was there to watch it all. And my God, Pamela, watch it I did.
How was it?
It was crazy. I have videos of it. I got pictures of everything. I sound so like weird in the video because I'm so scared. I didn't know what was happening. She ended up having to have a C-section because she only dilated to a certain amount. It became we ended up spending 4 days in the hospital.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it was an ordeal.
It was an ordeal. But anyways, more for her than me. I was just there freaking out. She's like so strong when it comes to like pain tolerance. And even her, Pamela, she was like in so much pain. So I was like, wow. So like,
did she not do the epidural? Like she
did eventually, but they only let her do the epidural after she dilated to a certain amount.
I
don't know the rules. I just follow them.
So it was a long labor, and then it wound up having complications, and she had to.
Yeah, so the baby was fine, but they were like, look, you're not dilating to 10. We can't do anything until you dilate to 10. Let's just cut you open. And an hour later, our beautiful baby girl was there. So It was awesome. Regard, it was just how quick that happened. Her name's Olivia Grace, and she's got my last name on there, Lindgren. And then, so there you go.
My last name on there on
well, my last name's like I don't have a great last name. It's Lindgren. It's kind of just like
no bang, but
it's no bang. But I said, Stacy, I should take your last name and be Daniel Bang or Dan Bang.
Yeah, Dan Bang.
Dan Bang.
Oh my God, yeah,
it's a great name.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, and then do you want to say anything about that? Because then we do have to talk about Jenna, because I know everyone in the chat was wondering where Jenna is. So
okay, so do I want to say anything about that? Congratulations!
Oh, okay.
And I can't wait to see her in person. I've seen pictures
on my Instagram. Yeah, we do have her up on. We decided that we were going to share her on Instagram a little bit. Nothing crazy, but we want
Why not? You don't have paparazzi following you just yet.
Yeah, I'm not worried. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. Yeah.
Plus, they all look the same for that's what I was going to say. Is she doing anything or just sleeping? Like, do you feel, is it like, there it is?
I feel like we got so lucky with this baby because honestly, she has to be fed every 3 hours, but she will sleep those 3 or 4 hours in between, throughout the night. So I'm getting I can get 3 hours of sleep. And then if it's my turn to do the bot, because we're doing she is breastfeeding. There's a lot of information probably to put out in the world here, but she's also pumping. She's doing that pumping thing. So I can take a turn in the middle of the night too. So she doesn't have to do every one of them.
I get it. I know babies. I know them.
I've never been so tired in my life though. To get woken up out of that dead sleep and then have to stay up, it's another level for me.
Personally feel like that is a huge the sleep thing, and then forever not sleeping late because I like to sleep. You've got now 18 years.
I think we might get lucky with this little girl though. I
like to sleep until 10.
Oh yeah, that's not. If I was
right. Even when I'm
up at 8 a.m. at the latest.
No one wakes up, so that's okay. But I do not like to wake up, and I like to sleep a lot, nap a lot, and let's get in the way of that.
We slept in last weekend one day till 9 a.m. and we were like, we haven't slept in until 9 since the 3 years I've known Stacy. We never stayed in that late. That's crazy. So that's how tired we were.
It is funny because that time when your kids are little is so formative that even now my nephews are grown and in college, and one's about to graduate.
Yeah.
But when I'm home, I still think Jessica, do you need help? Do you need to sleep because of the babies? You forget, they'll always be, it's funny because now I'm I wish they would hang out. They're they can drive. They're out doing things. But that time is so intense. Child rearing, which is a good transition into our show. But before, we also have to talk about our friend Jenna, who is well, everybody. We weren't allowed to say anything, which is why we hadn't said anything. but now
So
we're allowed to
yeah,
say.
I'll let you can say, well, the idea is that while Stacy, my wife, was pregnant, Jenna for the last 9 months, if you want to keep going with that. Oh, you froze right at the announcement? Oh, there you go.
Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. So Jenna also had a baby right now, a boy. She's at home being maternitying. She had her baby maybe a week before Dan did.
That is
So
correct.
that's where Jenna's been. So she's alive and well and with her baby and tired and being the one that it came out of and stuff. She's taken a little.
And the crazy thing is, for the last 9 months, no one's ever known that we've been doing shows with. I mean, we obviously we knew, but
we knew.
It's
but
funny that no one at home knew. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a TV show where they film around the pregnancy. Unless you saw that big old belly, you just couldn't see.
That's what we did. That's what we did.
So Jenna was pregnant and had a baby. So now our newest challenge fans are with us.
Yep.
And they are the next generation. And we're happy, Dan just did it because Wes did it. And I did see this is us to social media. Brittany is pregnant. Our Brit is pregnant. And we know that Cam, she's pregnant again with her second. So
I mean, you can talk about Zach, and Jenna just had another baby too. I know you love talking about Zach, so there you go. But Olivia watched, or should I say, possibly slept through the challenge last night when I watched it. She was right there, so there you go.
It's getting in there, getting in her subconscious. She's going to be like, TJ, I'm ready.
Yeah. So if anybody, I know people are going to want to reach out to Jenna via her Instagram, or you can just write in the chat here. I told her to respond. She's just so busy with the baby, so I wanted to, I wanted to just let anybody that wants to respond to Jenna and say nice things. If y'all want to say nice things to me too, that'd be cool, right? We can say nice things to Dan as well. But so definitely to Jenna and well wishes and all that good stuff. But she is okay. Everything's fine. Everyone was worried, Pam, about what happened.
I know. No, it was hard because we weren't saying anything. It's hard to be elusive for longer than, but she wanted to keep it private.
Jenna gave us permission to talk about it. So yes. Okay. Let's talk the challenge.
Switching.
Switch Wi-Fi. I feel like you're on a delay because then I keep talking over you more than I usually do because I already do that. So let's get you on the other Wi-Fi so you're on.
It's asking me for the password. My Wi-Fi. It doesn't need a password. We've had it for good lordy.
Good lordy. Good lordy. There you go. A little singing for you. See, she froze again. So I think she's switching over right now. This is her switching over. I'm really hoping.
Okay, yes. It should be good now.
There you go.
All right. Yay. So Jenna had a baby. Dan had a baby. We have new babies, challenge baby.
I feel like it's worse now with this new one.
Yeah, it's worse. No, this is the good one.
All right. It just froze, but maybe it won't anymore. Maybe it needed a little time to get on there.
Yeah, okay. I'm in the room too with all the stuff. So
and I wanted to thank Pamela in front of all of our faithful viewers. Pamela got me and Jenna challenge onesies, and they're awesome. And yes. I will be dressing her up as soon as it gets to me in the mail. So can't wait.
Yeah, when everybody's ready and babies are camera ready, we'll show you guys
camera ready baby
challenge onesies. And so that's where Jenna is, and that's why we were off last week. Everyone's having babies.
Right.
So share your love with them.
Speaking of double babies, we've got a double episode to jump into. So let's do that. The first one, episode 8, was called Struggling to Hold It Together. And I want to say to the vignettes here, I thought they finally set it up really well. I like that they had that conversation. They're all talking and Jay has a line, and I have to give Jay props because it made me laugh. He said, "Make Big T run 2 miles. All right. You'll beat her. Don't send Big T home." And I'm like, good. Someone else understands where I'm coming from with the Big T stuff. Because, she is doing better in this season than she's ever done before. But like I said, the bar set very low with that. So, look, make her run 2 miles. She's not keeping up with anybody. She just isn't doing it. So
Jay was saying at the end of this, the bottom line is endurance in a final. You meet someone that can run a lot is going to win the final. And you want to go against Big T or Zara. you don't want to go against Zara. So
is it Zara or is it Zaza?
I think her nickname is Zaza.
Oh, okay. But her full okay, so her full name is Zaza.
Zara.
I was calling her Zaza, whatever. I'm sure
Zaza
it's
is fine. We'll stick to that because we're
okay.
sure. But
Yeah.
I'm going to warn you all right now, you and our listeners, viewers. We can zip through this one 8. I watched it a week ago, and then I rewatched it today and was like, nothing. I
Dude,
5.
Pamela, you nailed it. What I wanted to tell the viewers was they should have combined episode 8 and 9. I actually thought it was actually really appropriate that we ended up just accidentally having to cover these because they actually kind of all went together because let's spoiler alert, in episode 8, Big T gets sent home, and in episode 9, Melissa gets sent home, and that is kind of like that is their storyline. They wrapped it up in 2 episodes. Like, oh, this is actually pretty perfect. I do want to talk a little bit about the daily challenge for episode 8, which was when they had to kind of sabotage each other's forts by like locking it up so you couldn't get in there or whatever. When they were like doing the tug of war with the chain and they were all ripping that out of each other's hands, how dangerous I actually thought that looked. Like one wrong move and someone, if you get wrapped up with a chain around your arm, something like that, and they pull on that thing, like that is like
really 100 people on it. Yeah, like no, it's scary. There must have been.
Remember they were doing like a tug of war, Pamela, with the chain.
Been doing that
because they thought the chain was like the best way to like secure their fort.
Oh, like to get the chain, to use the chain for yes, a lot of this went over my head on the second viewing because it probably wasn't. I can give you all my thoughts right now in like.
Why don't you give your number one thought and then we'll just go from there for episode 8 and then I'll fill in all the blanks.
My number one thought that I have.
Episode 9, I have a lot more to say about for sure.
Me too. We'll really dive into that because it's fresher and everything. But this episode, so I don't know why this happened. It was on. I watched this via Paramount.
Yeah.
And I had to buy it, which I don't understand. Isn't it just on Paramount now? Like I was in a different, anyway.
I'm on Hulu, so I don't know anything about I stopped using Paramount for now. I'm going to get it back if they do All Stars again.
Irrelevant, but it showed, and I was like, am I at the beginning? Is this a past? It showed the last 5 minutes first. And it showed that it was right. So I saw the elimination, the leaving, and then the episode started. So I have no idea why. Let me know, you guys, if anyone else experienced anything like that or if I'm crazy. But I was like, is this some sort of bonus, a weird, like what's going on? Because it was the start of the episode. It's not like it was a time lapse or it wasn't like I did it wrong.
Maybe you saw the repeat. Maybe they repeated it and you saw the second one in a row.
Watching it like 24 hours later. So
I don't know.
I don't know. In any event, I don't know if other people had experienced that screwed up. So I began with an elimination and was like, okay, which kind of like fucked up the rest of
it. It ruined the episode for you. I hear you. I hate spoilers. Yeah.
Ruined the episode. I mean, my thoughts were like, I get my thoughts today on the second viewing were Emmanuel's back in the house. Big T talks to Kyle. Why? Like, what's the point of that? Like, it's not like, who gives a shit? We don't miss him that much. Like,
what was that? Is Pamela? I don't even know if I wrote it down because it seemed like such a stupid thing. What was that? Because it's not like, did he give her some like all otherworldly advice that we all needed to hear?
No,
was it just to introduce
friends that it's like, oh, we need to have Big T check on Kyle? Like,
Pamela,
what?
I am so happy you brought this up. You're right. That was such a like, what a waste.
Big T's having a chat with Kyle. Okay, cool, I guess. Then it was the Corey and Melissa stuff. And Corey, again, like now I'm like, fuck, Corey's a fucking weirdo. Like, it's so, his plan was so stupid. He looked stupid having tried to execute it. Whatever, fuck Corey.
So let me expand on that a little bit, Pam, while we're there. So they make up at the beginning of the episode. They're like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. And then like the next thing they show is like a confessional of Corey, like saying, oh, and by the way, I got to send Big T and Melissa home. I'm like, okay, I guess you don't really, what are we doing here, man? All right, sure. So nothing's changed.
Yeah. Like he goes full into these half-assed plans that don't make any sense and benefit no one. We'll talk about it when we get to the next one, because it looked like he was back in the good graces of the U.S. alliance.
He was allowed in the room, at least for their conversations. That's for sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Melissa, again, another weirdo. Melissa, like, who said who's targeting me? It's like, just, yeah, you've been targeted every week. What do you mean who? Everybody but Big T, Melissa. Everybody but Big T. Like, who? She's like, I want to find out who said my name. Which ironically, in this one, Berna was like, I don't want to say Melissa, weirdly, because that's another one, like, you don't. But
Yeah.
she didn't want to say her, the only person Melissa's like actually fought with. Didn't want to say her, but then Melissa's big sting operation just to sort of lie. It's like, who cares? Everybody's saying her name. So Melissa, that was her big moment, was to find out. And then it wound up, then we know where it goes. Melissa and Big T are both voted as the people.
Right.
And
So, all right. So I do want to talk a few more things about the daily challenge. When Kylan got that metal chain, hit him in the face or something like that, and he started to bleed or whatever that was that hit him, like, I was like, oh my God, like, this is like somewhat dangerous. And then I also want to say, when Corey, when they were unstacking their crap to try to get back into the fort, he like threw a bunch of stuff off the thing. But what he didn't know was like someone had placed something really heavy inside the tire, and he pushed over, and a bunch of people like right there below him. I'm like, what if that falls on somebody? Like,
that is where you are now a dad. All of a sudden you're watching this with like
what's
danger.
happening? I don't know.
Yeah, danger everywhere. Wasn't worried about everybody's safety the way you are. I find these sort of overarching team chaos things really hard to follow, and I basically tune out.
Oh, I mean, this daily challenge,
it's just really hard to like have any idea what's really going on. So
yeah, this daily challenge, Pam, and the one from episode 9, actually, the daily challenge there, I was like, who's winning? I don't know. Like, it was
fine. It narrowed it down. Like, I was able to sort of follow along with 9. With this, it's like, you don't know at all anything that's happening until they announce the winner. It's like, you can show close-ups of someone doing good or someone not.
Yeah.
It's really hard. There's no way to follow. It's not timed. They're not super fun for us at home to watch along with. Yeah. So this one, I was like, blah, blah, blah. Let me know who wins and who's on that team. Like, I couldn't even really.
Yeah. You know, the other thing I noticed about this season so far is like, I feel like they don't really have a comedic relief. Like, they usually have like a Devin or a Bananas or a Wes, and this season they don't. So have you noticed who they're trying to make the comedic?
And Michelle.
That's not who I'm seeing. There's another guy. There's a guy, and they're trying to make him the comedic relief in these last 2 episodes, and it's coming off not funny at all. They show some Ed stuff, whatever, but
they're trying to make the comedic relief.
Asaf.
Oh God.
No, and he's not funny. It's not the bits that they're doing. He's showing off his muscles in one.
I had a banana. They don't make any sense either.
It's not funny. It's not funny at all. And I'm just getting so annoyed by it. Yeah.
You're right. They are trying to give Asaf. I see. Ed's funny. I didn't think they were trying to make him be the comic relief. I thought they were just exposing how fucking cheesy.
Well, they're exposing him in that regard, but I'm saying just in the confessionals, they always have like comedic relief for confessional purposes, where they always like a go-to, like, who's funny this season for one-liners. And they're doing it with Asaf, and it's like, it's just, for me, it's not working personally. I mean, people are going to tell me in the comment section, maybe they think he's hilarious, but I'm not laughing.
Yeah. They're just awkward, like, I'm obviously a love expert, right?
Yes, that's what they're doing, stuff like that. Yes.
And then it was sort of funny. He's like, it spilled all over my shirt. I got this from Dress for Less, but they don't land, because I was like, does he think that's a fancy brand? Like, it didn't, obviously the title is Dress for Less, so like, it's not, but he sounded like he was really affronted, and maybe I'm not catching it. They're not landing right, his jokes. You're right. I found Jay to be funny. He's like, let's be real, I'll always bring up beating CT. Like, he had some funny moments. And Ed
that stuff's fine. That stuff's fine.
Funny. Yeah, I don't know.
That stuff's funny, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ed had a funny, I love Ed. Ed stands out to me for sure. You know how I feel about it.
But see, Ed and Jay are like almost being funny a lot, like not confessional wise too. But like Ed is funny, like at the club when he's like becoming friends with these people, when he's really not. Like, yeah, that stuff is humorous, right?
And then when he, acted like, I think it was in episode, yes, it had to be in episode 8, because she was gone at the end of episode 8. He's like, sometimes you have to go against the grain and do what everybody doesn't want to do. And this is not one of those times. Big T, I'm voting for you. He's like, it's funny. I genuinely.
That was good. Yeah.
Sometimes, right. He's like, sometimes you have to make a hard call and go against what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing that. So kudos to those.
So we should probably talk, Pamela, about the one thing that did actually happen in this episode, which is Melissa versus Raven at the club. Because I know it might, but I need
It
to ask
winds
you.
up being relevant for the next time. You're right.
Yeah, I need to ask you some questions about it. She throws, apparently someone in episode 9 says that it was wine. It wasn't just water. It was wine that someone mentioned. I think it was Michelle. I forget who mentioned someone the episode later.
Throw a drink in her face. I mean,
yeah, it wasn't just water or anything like that. But let me ask you this. Remember when it was like Fessy, Josh, and that other girl that like she threw a drink but didn't get sent home? But remember Fessy got sent home for doing something to Josh that season?
I do remember. I'll tell you
what did Fessy, tell me now, what the hell did Fessy do to get sent home?
So someone threw a drink.
Right.
And Fessy responded. He thought it was Josh, and I think he did he didn't hit him, but he shoved him.
Okay.
And then Josh did like the chest bump, like, what? It wasn't even me. That's why Tori was like, I feel bad. I'm the one that threw the drink. Or me.
No, she didn't do it. It was someone else. It was a rookie or something. My point is, we were saying that girl should have got, if Fessy got sent home for a basic push, what's worse, like a push or throwing a drink in someone's face? They're both pretty disrespectful. I don't know. So I was like,
I guess a drink, you don't get sent home. We now know for
right.
Second, show me twice. This is our second. You do not get sent home for throwing a drink at someone.
Fair enough. My whole thought is though, like I was thinking, because at the time I was thinking with Fessy, like, did he even push him? I forget what he did, but it was something very basic. And we're like, what's worse, the little push or a throwing of a drink? I think they're both equally the same. So why didn't Melissa get sent home? But then again, the other girl didn't get sent home. So yeah.
Unless you're throwing the glass with it, is not going to cause a lot of bodily harm.
Correct. And that's why I think we had talked about this a year ago too, and that other thing happened too. And that is based, to me, that's the only thing that really happened in this episode was that Melissa threw a drink. So
and it was really stupid too, because again, the conversation was stupid. The whole thing was stupid because she was saying like, why would you say my name, essentially, I think was the fight. And it was like, because I'm in an alliance that you're not in. Like, what do you mean?
That's why, like, when her getting, I wrote down like, oh, look, Raven's being super calm while the psychopath is like trying to get out of her all this information when, like, look, it's a game. Like, why do you need to know if Raven was the one? Because she was like bothering Berna about it before that too.
Right. Like, oh, I heard you were the leader. And then Big T's like, he, she might have been exaggerating with her facts. It's like, everybody said you are the one that is being targeted. Like, I don't understand where the disconnect is, what the mystery is for you, especially with the Team USA girls. It's like, yeah, I said you because we're targeting you.
Yeah,
like,
let me ask you this. What producer went up to Big T and said, hey, Big T, this is going to be hilarious. Go up to Ed with this cash that we give you right now and try to bribe him and not put you in. I'm like, where the hell is the challenge gone that these producers need to create these storylines? Oh, I know, because they're too damn afraid to get canceled by having them, any of the hookups that are happening in the house, they won't show it to us, right? Like in episode 9, we find out Emmanuel apparently has tried to kiss Olivia twice. He's cuddling up with Raven and all this other, and he had sexual intercourse with Colleen, but they won't show us any of this. We have to have it all be exposition dialogue because they're too afraid of getting canceled. Like, so instead, let's have Big T go up there with some money and pretend that this is an actual real thing that she decided to do on her own. How far the challenge has fallen, and people can deny it all they want, but back in the day, producers wouldn't have had to do squat. They could have showed us every damn thing that Emmanuel was doing to be a sleazeball instead.
And if you're going to cheat on a girlfriend.
Yes.
So be it. Like, why? They're not going to hide it from camera. You're on camera. Like, now it's like he didn't want to do it on camera because he has a girlfriend, which again, it's like, okay, he didn't want to do it with 3 women. That's the other, somebody brought up on Twitter today, like, oh, Emmanuel's going to get shit for cheating, but Tori cheated. And I was like, listen, Tori fell in love with a guy she then got engaged to while in like another country and wasn't able to broke up with him at the time. She wasn't just trying to get with 3 different guys at a house while she had a boyfriend at home. Like, that's a very big difference. Like, trying to just basically hook up with anybody that'll hook up with.
You're telling me Emmanuel's not going to marry all 3 of those people that he's hooking up with?
Trying to get with that. And it's funny when they're in the room and she's like, yeah, he keeps telling me his dreams about me. I'm like, oh, Emmanuel.
like see
so
how
funny.
interesting, like, so like that I find like really interesting to show Emmanuel trying to balance all three women, but like at the same time they won't show us any of like what's really, it's all exposition dialogue, like, oh, so just so y'all know, 2 weeks ago Emmanuel tried to kiss me twice. Well, why
And then
not show
what
some of
does
that crap? Like, what?
I mean, yeah, it's just very crazy. And Olivia, I guess, who knows? They definitely have some sort of like not on camera room or something, and it's bullshit. Bullshit.
Both right. That's,
Bullshit.
but like we have to also understand, like, that's not what the show wants to be anymore. They don't want to show the fun party side. They want to pretend like they do by bringing us to a closed down club that they rented out so the public can't even go in there. And they want to pretend like, oh, they're about to
And give
party,
them
and
a
then they give us,
two-drink minimum, and give them.
and then
It's
they
like,
go immediately into strategy again. We're going to listen to another 15 minutes of strategy instead of 15 minutes of let's show them having a good time, getting drunk, making out, and then some private conversations where they say, I really like you. Let's hook up, or I'm not ready to hook up. They won't show us that stuff anymore. It's
a network. I say, get over it. I watched The Reality Reckoning, which is really stupid, and I couldn't believe how angry I was. And people, I'll save that for later. Maybe.
Wait, what did you watch? It's that new show with
Reckoning, and it's about how like these people are sort of trying to take down like Bravo mainly. And a long story short, so it was basically the Real Housewives were the focus. And
okay,
this woman's like, I'm an alcoholic, and I got relapsed on camera where I was being paid on $250,000 a week. Like, these are not poor nobodies that are signing. It's like, it's been 13 seasons. If you go on the Real Housewives, that's what they're looking for. Cry me a river is I was like, you have got to be kidding me that these people are
like, if you don't know what you're signing up for now after reality TV's been around for 30 years, like, what are you doing? Come on.
Right. Nobody wants to watch you, especially Housewives. It's not a competition show. At least the challenge can try and pretend it's a competition show. Right. The Housewives, it's like, why do you think people want to see you? They don't want to see you being a high functioning member of society.
Do we want you to just be on camera and succeed the entire time? No. We want to see your other side of life.
Yes. And if you don't want to, don't do it. Like, again, you're being compensated. It's like saying I had a shitty job and now I want my money back for that time, or give me more money because it wasn't a pleasant job. It's like, well, you paid up anyway. It drives me nuts. I couldn't believe it. It was.
Yeah. All right. So let's wrap this episode up. They all nominate Big T, surprise, surprise, and then Casey shows up. I mean, could this episode get any worse? I mean, that's awful, but it's true. Like, I'm not a fan of Casey. So Casey shows up and I'm like, oh, Casey versus Big T. And I want to ask you this, Pamela. I honestly think that producers pulled Casey aside and said, hey, can you give Big T one of these wins on the pole wrestle, like, to make it a little bit interesting? Like, there's no way Casey's losing to this girl. It's too there's no way. Like, as much crap as I give Casey about being boring and not giving anything fun in the house, like, the girl can compete as far as like something like that goes. So I'm sorry, she must have mopped the floor with this girl.
Agreed. As lame as Casey is, and as little as I want to see her return, it's like, you're better than Big T. She is we're not knocking her. Her problems are not with competing and winning. So yeah, it felt like a little bit of bullshit. They made it seem like it was actually close. Like, I was like,
they did their best. They did a good job because it looked close. Yeah,
they're damnedest. Yeah. Anyway, boo-hoo. Can we move this episode? Went home. Bye.
It's funny too. Yeah, this was, to me, episode 8 was the worst episode of the season. We get some better stuff in episode 9, which we're going to talk to now. But I also have a couple of some hot takes coming up too. So be prepared for that, I guess.
Guys, our new thing has to be a soft comedy fails, because it is like,
every episode.
It definitely is. So we have to start flagging those for the future on next time they do them. Because
yeah, if anybody has a comedy fail from a soft, you can write it in the comments below, because I honestly think that could be a segment. Every episode they try to make him the comic relief. I don't understand it.
It's like, hey, I ate 2 bananas today, which is like, is that a thing you're supposed to? It doesn't even make sense. Does it make sense to anyone else? I mean,
not only in the confessionals, but he has a huge fail at the end of the Daily Challenge that we're going to get into, when he completely misunderstands what Kyland is saying, and it's absolutely hilarious. I don't want to jump ahead. But that one,
let's get
I'll
into
re-explain it to everybody in case everyone forgot. And then I have a huge thing to talk about with Tori at the end there.
me too.
Oh my God. Oh my God. But anyways, all right. So those are some teasers for us all.
Okay.
Let's go to the beginning. And the episode is called A Banana Split. Because bananas is mentioned multiple times.
Jesus
Now, non-spoiler alert, I was really hoping that Bananas was going to come in on some type of video call with Mariah or something, because like they literally named the episode after him, and maybe they did that to try to get us to watch. I don't know, but
I'm proud to say I had no fucking clue. I wrote down banana split question mark. No fucking clue. I didn't even affiliate it with bananas because he's
really,
not.
I did right away.
I sort of got teased. I knew Tori was the person, so I wasn't like, is he coming in to be the? Because that's what I maybe would have thought. That is so funny that how they're like, really, bananas is the king of the challenge because wow, is his reach powering even when it's absolutely not. I didn't connect it to him, and then watching the challenge I was like, is there a banana split thing? Like, was it, is it the banana? It didn't make any sense to me. I still don't.
All right, well, it popped right out to me before I even watched the episode. Yeah, but I mean, we start off with Mariah and Olivia. And, you know, Olivia's saying Mariah's like, I don't know who she's with at this point. She's so obsessed with James. Her alliance with us is like, oh, I don't know. She's cheating on Bananas, supposedly. And I had mentioned this before. I was like, well, Bananas is technically on that other show. I don't know the timeline of airing, but he's on House of Villains. But on that show, he is, I want to say, yes, he is flirting with, her name's drawing a blank. What's her name?
Not saying I have a girlfriend that I'm loyal to. And then, no, banana. Right. Oh, I have so much to say about this. This was, I don't know why I'm so angry lately. I was mad at Reality Reckoning, and I'm very mad at Bananas, who is trying to portray it like he doesn't give a shit. Why is Mariah bringing him into things for clout? Whereas clearly he's whining about it back home to his friends, Devin and Tori.
Mean, that would be a pretty bullshit move by Devin and Tori if Tori is making that up for the show that he is heartbroken. So it's hard, yeah.
Oh, I think Bananas realized he's going to come off looking stupid. Bananas wants to have his cake. And
here's my point. What is her name? Corinne. Corinne's the girl that's on House of Villains with Bananas. Bananas, I will say this, Bananas, he is not, at least so far in this show, he is not hooking up with her. Like, he is keeping his distance. No. And I wonder if that's because of the Mariah stuff, just in general, because he still likes Mariah.
Possibly, but again,
so maybe he really is heartbroken, is my point, you know? Heartbroken. I don't know. Heartbroken seems heavy.
So he's a vet on TV and he's got to be at least 15 years older than her. I don't know how, which I think is almost secondary to the fact that he's been doing this for so long. He's the boss. I think he wears the pants in that relationship. He's the king of the challenge. She's on her second season. The fact that everyone's like, what about Bananas to Mariah and no one, because they're not, yes, Bananas wants to have his cake and eat it too. He wants a banana split. I don't know what he wants, but it became very clear this episode that it is not to be tolerated that Mariah might be embarrassing him by hooking up with someone else, even though they're not a couple. Does not have a girlfriend. She is not his girlfriend, but how dare she make him look stupid?
End of the world right now. I can't believe she would do such a thing. But, you know, it's also like if someone brings up Bananas' name in the house.
I feel like it was fucked up, and like obviously Bananas knows and is causing a stink about it and making it seem like she's a real jerk. I think Bananas' worldview is Bananas facing, and he just thinks, how do I look? You're making me look stupid. How rude. And it's like, she's not trying to. Relax, buddy.
Well, I mean, look, they're not, I don't think they were ever official, whatever.
Both ways. You can't have your friends going there going, you're not being nice to Bananas.
But here's my point, though. Here's my point is people know damn well if they bring up Bananas' name in the house, especially around Mariah, that's probably going to make it to air. And like, these people want some airtime and they're getting it. All right.
I don't think that they're trying to get clout. I think that from their perspective as 20-year-olds, that she's been hooked casually dating, we'll say, for a year. they're like, "Ooh, what about bananas?" Because 20-year-old girls care about that more than 40-year-old men. They do. It's
Why
a
does
more
Mariah feel so bad about it then? If she's not officially with bananas, why is she like, she's making it
because
sound like
now
she's
she's
really
making him look stupid on television. He doesn't, I don't think any of this is about, I think it's 100% his ego. I don't think he gives a shit about
okay, an ego call. That's a good one. I like that.
Completely under wraps.
Is Mariah concerned about, and this is a big thing, I really think people underestimate this, is Mariah concerned about her brand and how like she's associated with bananas and now she's treating bananas bad, and people might, this is big for these 20-year-olds, people might unfollow her on Instagram. I'm telling you, these people care about this, Pam.
I wouldn't think that would even be stupid. I don't think it's that. I think it's in this world. She's like, how am I going to look? And then you have Devin coming in and going, the banana man's not too happy. And Tori going, not cool. You're breaking his heart. Like, this is he's heartbroken. Like, well, I guess this is how I'm going to look, that every fucking champ's going to be against me. And they are. And I don't blame her for being
and like, that's the best part is even if Bananas isn't heartbroken and doesn't give a crap, if he's like talking to Tori, hey, Tori, tell her I'm heartbroken. Or even if Tori's doing that on her own, it's still all making Mariah look bad. And that's what
it's like she's the noob dating the big man on campus, and everybody, all of their friends are coming in going like, what are you doing? Like, I was like, don't do that to someone that's in the middle of a competition. Fuck you. Like,
I think it could also lead to more opportunities for Mariah to come back in another season when Bananas wants to be on. And then, oh no, she has to be on the same season as Bananas. More drama. But hey, she got to be on TV again.
Bananas, like even we'll get into it when they start. We'll save more, but man, the power of Bananas. I think that it looks like betraying Bananas, who's the king of the challenge, and people are like, I want to be distanced from that. It's scary, frankly. I'm not even kidding. I think the control, how far-reaching his control is like a little frightening.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely trying to make their darling Bananas seem like the victim. I don't even want to call him a victim, but geez.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to have it both ways. That this girl that I wasn't disloyal to is making me look like shit. And at the same time,
I just want to say this in Bananas' defense, from what I've seen on House of Villains, Corinne is trying to come on to him, and he is kind of poo-pooing it away and keeping his distance. He is. So far,
he has a girlfriend that he watched.
However, I haven't watched that show in like 2 weeks. I gotta catch up. I might be behind a couple episodes.
It's good. That's a funny twist, and not a twist, but last episode. It must be on Fridays, because whenever these days roll around, I'm like, is there a new episode? And they're never on.
I have been on baby duty for the last 10 days now, and I have had I barely had time to watch this. This is the only show I've watched, this show, unless we're watching it as like something as a family. I have no time to watch anything right now.
A hardworking dad, hardworking man, bringing you this challenge content. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, everybody. Yeah, thank you for saying that, Pam.
Yeah.
All right, do you have anything to say about the daily challenge? I thought it was not that great. They had 3 different events here, all involving sticks.
Oh, the team with 3 people wins? Like
every time, Pam. Every time.
Especially in a thing like this. It's like, oh, this is like, the more minds, the better. One team's going to have more. Can I
ask producers this question, Pam? Why didn't producers just put this in the next episode when they had even teams after someone else went home, or whatever like that? Like Melissa goes home after this episode. Guess what, everybody? You'd have even teams next. I get that you can't ever determine that, because obviously if the champ could lose and then everyone gets to stay, but why can't you just put this? I know you have like a schedule to keep, but like
dumb, because it made a huge difference.
Clearly they won every time,
and because of course you would. It's like saying like there's 2 people that have to do this sort of, that have to pack boxes. Oh, one team's going to get 3. It's like, yes, a third person's going to make moving things putting them in places a lot easier.
Yep.
It's so dumb. I can't. It was like it's too dumb. So I was like, this is so dumb. Hopefully.
Right, speaking of dumb, let's talk about Asaf and what happened at the end of this challenge here. So I love that Kylan calls him out. because, supposedly Kyland is over it. He's heard him and Asaf and Melissa talking multiple times how they're going to work together and say, because you know what, Asaf needs to be called out because
I was on team Asaf.
All right, well, let me hold on. Asaf thinks he's so damn smart for working with everybody in the house and not letting everybody. He's pulling technically a Corey here as well. He's working with all these different groups of people. Okay, so Kylan calls him out and said, how dare you be the way that you are? And, you're saying all these lies to a mother. And when he was saying a mother, he was referring to Melissa. Asaf thinks that he's
what you say about my mother?
Yes, and he's blowing up. So Asaf, guess what? You're a moron for multiple reasons now. Thinking you could work with everyone in the house, and then thinking that Kylan's talking about your mother. So I give Kylan props for keeping his cool and be like, dude, you're an idiot. Knock it off. But tell me how you're going to defend Asaf here. And how you don't agree with Kylan here. So go ahead. I want to hear that because I'm on Team Kylan for this one, 100%.
So in terms of the actual argument, Asaf is a freaking idiot.
Okay.
And he misheard and jumped on the wrong thing. In terms of the actual, not the two morons arguing, in terms of the actual, what they were trying to say, Asaf had said, as a parent to parent, you can always talk to me if you have something to. He didn't say, I'll never vote you in. I'm in an alliance with you. He said, I understand as a parent, always feel free to talk to me. That was the big conversation they showed between him and Melissa, that she was like, you said you'd have my back. It's like, I said, feel free to always talk to me. We're not in an alliance and at all. And I don't know who Melissa thinks she is in an alliance with, because it's not even I don't know. That's a whole separate question. In terms of Kylan being like, how dare you? Oh, I'm going to defend Melissa now. You owe her. It's like, stop. Melissa is on an island. The girl that she threw a drink in the face of last night is on my team. And both girls want to vote for her. I'm sorry, I'm outnumbered. I didn't say, so that's where I think Asaf is right in that, like, he doesn't owe Melissa. You could have stood up for me. It's like, and then what, been outvoted 2-1? A, it's not my job to stand up for you. B, I didn't say, oh, you're a mother. I was going to say, Dan, when I was watching this, please don't start bringing up, like, as a father now, like, as a father, like, I'm doing this for my child as a father. And Melissa was also like, I raised a child. I'm like, your child is 3. You did not raise a child.
All right, so listen, I agree with almost everything you're saying, but I will say this. I do think that there was more conversations that possibly we were not privy to between Asaf and Melissa. And also, I do never want to defend Melissa at all. And, Melissa's, one of the other things she said tonight was, or maybe it was in episode 8, I don't remember. She's like, I'm here for my child. Okay. Great.
And she was like, no.
Guess what? Emmanuel's here for his family. Like, who cares?
I have a child. Listen, most people, birthing a child does not make you mature. Put it that way. I've known many an immature person that has given birth. I know many immature grandparents that have, so they did it twice. They've done it twice over, still not mature. My point is that is not, having a child is not your like valor, like you are good. You are mature. You have child. Being a good parent might make you, someone say, oh, they mature. They're a really good parent. Throwing out the old, I had a child, I'm mature is just so dumb. I'm sick of it. It's the same thing as the way
now it's not going to matter because she went home, but I do think that Asaf, obviously he's working with the Americans. What we call them Americans, whatever. He's working with his buddy Jay because him and Jay,
they think that they are like, even Michelle, who I love. I don't know, by the way, why I'm so aggro today. I apologize to everyone. I like, but Michelle, who I love, is like, I have tons of power in this game to sway the vote. And she does. She actually does, because they are the leaders of the idiots. These are all like idiots, and they've been on the show. It's idiot rookies, and then a bunch of 20-year-old girls that have been on once that are like influenced.
Yeah, honestly, like at this point,
Michelle are the wisest.
Yeah, at this point, like, who are you rooting for? Isn't that funny? Like, we're halfway. Oh, hold on.
That's a good question.
Like, isn't that interesting? Like, after 9 episodes, which, and Olivia said, we're basically halfway through the season now, almost, right?
So I'm rooting for Ed and a girl that I Horacio and Ed are people that I think like deserve to win, quote unquote, that are good competitors and not horrible people, and that are just kind of playing the game. And then girls, I feel like Olivia, this is all because of 38, deserves
Redemption, whatever you want to call it.
redemption by beating, yeah, by making it to a final and not getting to finish that final. She hasn't done much this episode. And on this, who a girl that's like competing well, Michelle is
I'm
like
not.
doing
Yeah.
staying out
I'm
of competition.
I'm out on Michelle. I don't even care. I mean, I don't mind Jay, but I'm not rooting for Jay. I'm just not. Ed and Horacio are my top
And
two
Horacio.
guys. But I'm
And
also
I
I
like
like
Jay well enough, but
I like a good underdog though, Pam. And not that I think he's an underdog when it comes to performance. I think he's an underdog when it comes to not having a huge alliance. And I am looking to like a James character just because, like, who is James? Well, why though? Who is James' alliance at this point?
James is working with
Who?
Ed. I think Ed and James have
Okay.
spoken.
What is your problem with James? He hasn't really done anything. I mean, what he
He
just
hasn't done anything one way or the other. And
he went into an elimination.
whatever. Again, I'm not, no. I feel like what you were saying, I thought I was nodding along with you thinking you were going to say Horacio, that
I
he's
did. I said him. I said
right,
him.
no, we want him, but not in an alliance. He's sort of an individual player.
Oh yeah.
Um,
No, because at the beginning of this episode, it's Horacio.
British alliance to some extent, which I don't understand who's in because no one seems to really be in it. But allegedly, there's the UK alliance, which I don't know who that is because Colleen is on the USA alliance, sort of.
So that's what they're saying.
And then I do think it seems to me that James and Ed are kind of working together, whether sort of spoken or unspoken. And then it kind of seems like these are my unspoken. There's one side of the house that's the dominant, that's the USA, that's got Jay, Corey, Asaf. I won't even call them Emmanuel. That's one side. And then I do think the unofficial alliance is kind of like Ed, James, and then by default Kylan and Horacio, just because they're
Yeah, I was gonna say Kylan's the other one that does not. Who the hell is Kylan working with? So
Horacio are sort of a team, and I make Ed and James a team, I guess, just because they're roommates.
If Kylan and Horacio become a team, I'm in. That's my team. I'm good.
They are for. I don't like Kylan anymore. I think Kylan is.
I think that Kylan is. I think you're going to get back on it. I think you're going to start to like him now because Melissa's gone. He honestly was so obsessed with Melissa. I think some of his judgment on certain things, like you might be saying, might be a little out there. I thought he should have dropped her when she called him out in the club, like for not wanting to do a bunch of PDA in front of a bunch of drunk people. So whatever. I didn't care
Melissa,
about that.
I feel like in real life, I would like. This is where I come down on her now that she's
really
gone.
in real life. You'd like her.
She gets one more chance, but I'm hoping that a lot of this is performative, and that's fine with me if she's putting on a show for the show because it's a show, and I'm okay with that.
All right.
She does seem like she has a sense of humor and like I'd like her in real life, but based on what we saw in this episode, in this season, she seems horrible. But again, I have to hope she's putting on a show because she does seem funny. Like even when she's leaving and she has a cute smile, she's like, "Fuck you guys!" Like she doesn't seem to take herself as seriously as it would suggest by throwing drinks in people's faces and starting these fights. So I have to believe she's putting on a show.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like people are like, Dan, how could you not like Melissa? You always say there's not enough drama in the show. She's bringing the drama. I'm like, she's being
but it's like unwarranted drama.
Thank you, Pamela. You nailed it. Like, I want drama when someone like actually has something to be drama about. You threw a drink in a girl's face just because you've been acting crazy all season and people are voting you in now because of it. Like,
she was like, I'm leaving. Like she wasn't engaging. She was like walking away. No, right. Melissa
Raven wasn't doing it. That's what's so nuts. How calm
she was like, "Fuck you, slut! I'll throw you in. You think your baby makes you special?" Like she wasn't fighting with her.
Right.
She was like, "I'm not doing this. I'm not like." We're not on this. We're not on. Like, why wouldn't I say your name? Like, yeah, it was Raven was completely in the right there.
Actually, no, I like Raven this season too. I can root for Raven. I don't think she'll win, but I'm like okay with it.
I do think
I think she's better than we think, though. I mean, I know they were on the 3-person team, but she did win. I mean, she held up her end of the bargain.
I think she's a good competitor. I think
Yeah.
she's shown. It was funny when Colleen was in her interview and she's like, Zara and Raven and Asaf are smart. I don't mean smart. I don't mean smart like that team. She's like, sorry, I said the wrong word. I don't mean smart.
Did you mean
I
strong?
mean strong. She's like, they're strong competitors. But it is funny how when her and Emmanuel, I did have to think for a second how difficult it must be to be speaking in your second language. Like what must get lost in translation
Between Emmanuel and Colleen, correct?
no, between us and them, because even the English is both of their second language. So even speaking to each other in a second language, and just how natural it must feel to be able to speak in your native tongue, a la that cute girl. And
I feel bad for Colleen. I don't know what she was thinking hooking up with Emmanuel in the first place, but I feel bad for her.
Who does she think her alliance is? Because
it's funny. I wrote this down. I wrote, Colleen, you have 0 alliance. Maybe Emmanuel. Oh, wait, he's over there grinding with Olivia. Like, yeah. She doesn't have anybody.
No, that's what I think. She's just lonely and so cute. She is like,
yeah,
like freakishly cute, like that. No, we have a friend whose wife is like that. That same like Nordic. I mean, she's American, but she's that same like just flawless, like blue eyes and like blonde hair,
yeah,
skin and teeth, and just very, very like flawless. But she's very cute. But yeah, she's sort of relying on the Americans. But as we saw tonight, when push comes to shove, they are not.
They all even like she gave her case for Mariah, like, hey, Mariah, and I thought it was actually a good point because, like, yeah, Mariah is Team James and he is not in that American alliance. So why not put Mariah down there? Oh, by the way, Mariah is supposedly this strong, great competitor. Why not? There's another reason to get rid of her. But no, they still went Colleen based on
whatever. Because, well, I'll tell you why.
I'll tell you my reason after you, because I have a great reason too.
And should we use this time to transition into the Colleen of it all? So Colleen's, so who's Melissa? Nominations. So
they all vote Colleen. They all chicken out. They're all pussy chickens. As our old friend would say, they're all pussy chickens.
Pussy chickens. They are pussy chickens. Colleen had a good point and did a valiant attempt at turning the vote towards Mariah.
Mm-hmm.
However, these are the reasons why it failed. Can I give mine, or do you want to go first?
No, I was pausing with you because I was like,
okay,
go ahead.
The number one that it failed. The ride or die 38 girls are in a very distinct alliance. They're in a room together. They're best friends. Like sometimes Colleen, they say, and the American girls and Colleen will pop up in a confessional. And I'm like, is she in this alliance? Because some producers counting her as in it. Every episode I've written like Colleen, if with the American girls, yeah. I guess she thinks she's in an alliance with them. I think Michelle is makes Colleen feel safe, and Michelle saying, oh, you have my vote, and I'm in that, and I'm with these people. But Olivia, Raven on the outskirts, but Olivia, Mariah, Nerys, for my eyes,
Michelle
in that as well.
Yep.
That is like the firm. I would even say Michelle, because she's got so if we've got Raven here because they've turned against her, yeah. Michelle here, she's got her hands in every pot. Those three are like, I feel like they're like besties. Those three I feel like are real friends.
I would still put Michelle in there, but I'm 100% with you with the other stuff you said. Yeah.
So those other three. So then it turned me to being like, and also when Raven did it, Raven betrayed her alliance, lest we not forget. It wasn't just that she was hooking up with that guy. She like fed information to the British guys because she didn't want that guy to go in.
Yeah.
Mariah is hooking up with James so people can speculate that he's her number one and she's making new alliances, but that's not true. Yeah. We haven't seen it, and it hasn't been done, and she's merely hooking up with the guy. She's not allying with him, and she never said, I guess she said, I don't want to vote in Melissa because James doesn't want me to, but I feel like that was said to her friend Olivia, not as a strategy thing, and not meant to be, not like she wouldn't. I feel like she would, and she did vote for Melissa. So it's like, I felt frankly like Olivia was the Mariah's alliance, I thought did her dirty, and she didn't deserve that. Like sitting in a room talking about her, all she's guilty of officially is hooking up with a guy that's not in that alliance, like Michelle, who didn't get dogged like that.
But your mind wanders there though, Pam. Like, oh, she's spending so much time with James. You're telling me she's never talking strategy with him?
James in an alliance with. I don't think those two are talking strategy. I think they boning. I don't think they're sitting there.
I think they boning. I think they boning and strategin. I do think there's some strategy being.
We haven't seen.
Okay. Maybe they're not doing strategy. Would Mariah ever vote James in? The answer is no, and vice versa, no. So therefore, she is.
I think she knows
better.
No, I'm saying yes. I think if it was a choice between James and someone in her alliance, she would vote them in potentially.
No, I don't agree. I think if it came
but James Olivia brought up bananas. Poor bananas. How's this going to look? What she's doing to bananas? By the way,
Pamela, if Jay is up for going down there and James is up for going down there, where does Mariah vote? She votes Jay.
Alliance, and he's the only one that I think she wouldn't. But if it was Asaf or Emmanuel, someone that thinks that they're a big part of the alliance, that I don't think she would do it to her girls, which I consider Olivia and Nerys. But if it was Jay, I would say no. If it was Asaf versus the guy she's hooking up with, I think she would vote in Asaf, but I would think she would be voting over Jay over. I do. I don't think
I disagree, but you know what? That's fine. And in the comment section below, they can tell us what they would do, but what they think would happen. But I just think that she's into James, and that's what it is. But what I wanted to bring up with nominations was, everyone voted Colleen, even though Colleen supposedly made some good points there.
Some good points, but not enough to wreck an alliance.
Well, it's not even an alliance that they're playing for too much damn money at this point, right? Even they're bitching about it only being $300,000. It's more than that actually, but whatever. My point is, if this was back in the day when they're paying for like $5,000, like they don't mind, like, yeah, okay, I'll vote for someone else. Let's make the TV show interesting, because you know what? People are watching this at home. Now it's like, well, we can't make the show interesting because we're afraid of getting people getting mad at us and having to go home and not winning all that money. And we don't want to hurt our brand because social media exists. All these things coming together, not just one thing, but all these things are really hurting the nominations are so freaking boring to watch, Pam. I can't stand watching them.
And again, these young girls that really are friends that have done one season, it's like, listen, all's fair, then don't make an alliance with 10 girls. I feel like at the end of the day, Olivia, Nerys, Raven, like they are friends too. So it's like doubly fucked up. It's like at the end.
Okay, so then there's another thing adding into all of this. I mean, friendships have always existed on the challenge, but yeah.
They've always existed, but these are people that have seen the friendships of the champions, and that they endure over a year. They want to be I don't know. I just feel like
can I bring up one
for yourself as disloyal, and beyond just being like Raven, when she stepped out of line, it was like, we'll show you, and she got back in line. At this point, I also think, I don't think Mariah or James are big strategizers. I really don't. I'm telling you, I really don't.
And maybe they're not, but I do think that they're going to be there for each other when it comes down to it. And that would be them having to go against, or Mariah having to go against her alliance. So we'll leave it.
Well, if Colleen, who I think was onto something, again, with the underdogs, has said, Mariah, and maybe this will happen next week, everybody almost was going to flip on you, just so you know. I'm allied with Ed, James. Why don't you drop those zeros, come with a cure, and make an alliance?
I would love it. I would love that.
I would love that too. So I don't think Mariah is the brains of any operation. I think
I don't either. I agree. I am not denying that. But
either. I think they're two hot people that are be boning. I agree.
Can I ask you a question about something that happened on the show? You remember when they showed Emmanuel cuddling with he was cuddling with both Olivia and Raven in they had not a green screen, but the night vision going, and they were showing they're cuddling, and they were watching TV, it looked like. So are they watching TV in this challenge house now? What?
Or maybe, I mean, I don't know.
So they're allowed to watch TV. I just don't, that scene, I've never seen a scene like that in the 30 years I've been watching this damn show. That's not that long. The 25 years I've been watching this show.
30 years. I've been watching since I was 2, right? Like you've been in the
8. It would be 8 for me. If it's been 30 years, I'd be watching since I was 8. But so what was like, they're allowed to watch TV, maybe a movie? They put a movie on for them?
I mean, maybe they have a VHS. I have no idea. Obviously,
VHS.
video phone.
Now who's old? A VHS.
I have no idea. I didn't, to be honest. I sort of thought that light was like coming from a camera. I didn't think about it that hard.
Why they were all like piled up watching TV together? Like
they might have some DVDs or something. Like they certainly don't have internet access, but they might have a few DVDs that they can watch.
Maybe I didn't think they allowed that because they wanted to have them be in their natural world. But it's also unnatural now. It probably was,
At the show, it's like that's the point of bringing in these 20-somethings that we don't give a shit about, is to watch them get messy and hook up and cheat on their girlfriends. So don't not show it and bring it up later. Like
that's what I can't stand. That's the problem. It's happening.
A show like this and think your significant other's not going to find out that you've been hooking up with other people, you're an idiot. So
just like, back in the day, like the Real World would just show things happening. They kept the cameras rolling. They didn't like shut the cameras off and like get them to get, all right, your scene right now is going to be this and this. I mean, maybe they did a little bit. Obviously they had to produce a show.
It was a different, I get that they have to cover their ass, but it's like, these people are doing this on camera. You don't need to cover your ass that much.
They're too worried about the culture we're in right now. They don't want to offend anybody. It's a whole freaking thing. Okay. When deep down, we all just want to be able to I just want to escape from my world and watch some ridiculousness.
He's right. We just want to see him, Manuel saying, I had dreams about you.
What? Like, yeah, but also imagine having a scene showing him trying to kiss Olivia multiple times and having her either deny it or it's just such, I mean, it's a little trashy on his part, but I just want to see that. Why is that? If that makes me a bad person, so be it. But I want to see him get turned down. I want to see how that interaction happens. I want to see what goes down there. They showed him grinding. They showed him grinding at the club. So clearly Olivia might not have minded his advances. I don't know what they were afraid of by not showing that. Like, what the hell?
Yes, no, 1,000,000%. And they're giving him this sort of Lothario. Like, I always thought he was a ladies' man, and now it's like he's trying to get with all these girls, and they're kind of rich. What's the truth? I don't know. They're giving him a hero's edit in this because they hid all this, and
they're giving him what edit?
A hero's edit. Like, he's not being made to look like a fool, and it kind of seems like he's acting kind of like a fool.
All right. So let's get into the arena where Tori shows up, because obviously you and I probably have the same issue with what she says to Mariah. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So what she says to Mariah is basically, hey, focus on becoming a champion and not hooking up in the house. Kind of like that is what she says. And I'm like, I'll just say it and you can say whatever you want, Pam. Tori, that was your MO for the last 9 seasons you've been on. You hooked up with Jordan. You hooked up with Emmanuel. You hooked up with that one kid with the funky hair for a season. Who am I missing? She hooked up with Derek H. Derek H.
I love Tori, but she has never not hooked up with anyone on a season, even when she's been in a relationship. It's not only is it pot calling kettle black, because that's not what offended me. What I was mad about, again, which is the bizarro banana control, but that it's you are disrespecting my boy Bananas. Focus on your game. Well, that is how it came off to me.
I don't understand. I just don't understand how Tori can think that she's going to get away with saying that when people should be. I hope everyone's calling her out on social media. What are you talking about? Focus on becoming a champion.
You can be
first of all, Tori, you didn't start off on the challenge. You started off with "Are You the One?" where that was just a hookup show. I know you're having fun with your hair tonight. We talked about this pre-show as well. Anyways, please tell me in the comment section, am I going nutty thinking what is Tori talking about here?
I didn't mind the focus on your game. I thought that was just a sort of add-on.
What? I did.
It seemed like she was really condemning her for hurting Bananas, and he knows, and it's not a secret, and this isn't cool, because Tori really has no leg to stand on. I do not think she would sit there and go, oh, you shouldn't hook up in the challenge house.
She did though, Pam. That's what she said to her.
to me, it seemed like a mafia boss being like, "Don't be dumb, don't be fucking dumb. I've got eyes
Uh,
on you.
I I took it
Like,
as
don't ruin your challenge." And I do think it's scary because I do think Johnny Bananas I thought it was weird and scary that Tori was coming in for, like, it's one thing to alone be like, look, he knows, like off cam. The whole thing was bizarre, and I feel like
look,
Bananas
I
should
don't mind
fucking.
her doing it on camera, but she could have done it a different way. She could have walked up to Mariah because the producers are going to wait for Tori. They're not going to Tori, when you're not allowed to go talk to the contestants, they don't give a shit. She's the new challenge darling. So if she went up to Mariah and said, "Hey," and it would all been on camera still because they're all freaking mic'd up or whatever. "Hey, look, just so you know, like Bananas is really upset. What are you doing? Like, why are you making these decisions?"
And
But don't go on and say, but then don't go on and say, "And by the way, you should really be focused on just being a champion and not hooking up." There's no need to say that part of it.
That I do, to give Tori the benefit of the doubt. I do think she just meant focus on your game. Don't, you know what I mean? Like, you should. But I thought that seemed like a mafia boss threat of like, you're not going to be a challenge champion if you fuck over Johnny Bananas.
No, overall, I just
Felt
cannot
bully.
believe Tori
I hate
said
to use
that.
the bully. I hate to use the bully word, but that Tori admonishment felt like don't fucking come here and tell me not to hook up with a guy. Like, fuck you.
It didn't. Yeah, I mean, it's we can use the word bully wherever we want. It felt. I was just like, "Yo, Tori, like you don't have a leg to stand on with the comments you're making, so knock it off." You're more than welcome to go up to Mariah and say, "Hey, like
Yeah.
Bananas is really upset," and say it in an honest way. But the way that she said it to her was like, "How, like you said, how dare you hurt Bananas?" Like, shut
Yeah.
up, get
And
out of
again,
here.
Bananas is meanwhile sitting there going, I don't have a girlfriend. What? Shut up. So how is Mariah? Again, you can't have it both ways, Banana. Is that why it's banana split? You can't have it both ways. You can't have both sides of the Sunday, Banana. You can't have this girl
We can call it
honoring
whatever
you.
we want, but yeah, that's you. Whatever meaning you want to put behind the banana split is fine, but it had to do with Johnny Bananas.
Feels
So
very icky and like 50s to make this weird double standard of like Johnny can do what he wants, but she better not make him look bad. Like, it feels very creepy.
I think some producers influenced as well, trying to bring a little more drama to the show, whatever you want to call it as well. So
no, and I'd really love to know. This is where, like, you guys watching, we need what is Johnny's reaction to this? What is the
well, Johnny
because
hasn't really has Johnny come out with any information on his social media? That's something that
all
people
he
say.
said
Probably
was, so she's using my name for clout. That was the last thing I thought him saying. But
okay.
that was prior to Devin showing up on the show, and now Tori going, "Don't you do it?
Yeah, yeah.
Don't you make Bananas look bad on TV?"
Right, right.
So
Okay.
yeah. So I don't know.
I don't
So
know either. All right. So there's that. We should talk quickly about the actual Tori's performance. I thought she did really well against Melissa. Melissa looked more flustered in the water. I personally would have been right at home in the water doing this challenge. I would have really enjoyed this. I love spending time underwater. It's like it feels like so quiet and nice down there. Yeah.
A lake.
Yep. I grew up on a lake. That is true. But yeah, I would have loved to be down there for sure. It would have been great. So
to be honest, an underwater puzzle would be my dream challenge because I also am comfortable underwater and with puzzles. So
there you go.
Like taking away, and this didn't have math, like doing, I'm fine with my memory. It's the only thing I could do. I did feel bad for Melissa, who is a good competitor and was like anything but a puzzle or a water thing. I felt bad for her, but it's your time's up, Melissa. It's time to go.
Yeah.
I'll be with Vienna.
I agree. You have any more comments before we go today, Pamela?
Bananas, you can't have it both ways.
We know that's the same comment, Pam. I meant new comments.
Asaf, we're going to be watching you and your corny jokes.
Yeah, my God.
Melissa, Bicky, goodbye to that alliance. See you never. Just kidding. That was my TJ. And no, not much to say. This was at least the next episode at least had some stuff going on. I'm excited to see how the alliance of the Ride or Die Girl and USA and you know the Asaf and Emmanuel, what's going to happen when they have to start turning on each other.
Yeah. Yep.
I'd like to see Ed rise up and start an alliance.
Look, I think there's definitely room for this season to still finish strong. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
It's okay. They just need less. I'm not loving the pull the thing because like I don't like that idea that it could be not even one of those two people.
Okay.
So hopefully that won't happen again. And then ultimately things like a 3 people team and a 2-person pair up game, do better.
I
Come
mean,
on.
to me, it's like, if you're gonna have this much strategy talk, just make the episode an hour. I don't need to sit through 30 more minutes of strategy talk. I don't care about all these pre-planned scenes that you keep putting together for people to talk about what they're gonna do with the next thing. Like, just let them live. Just let them live. Show the
Yeah.
hookups. Be done with it. Just come on.
Agreed.
Anyways, all right. We'll see y'all next week. We're hoping Jenna wants to return whenever she feels ready to do that soon. But we're gonna let her do her thing on maternity leave. So we'll see you next week. Pamela.
Thank you guys.
Yes, there it is. And bye-bye. See you
Bye.
later.